Life and business can be easy, but us silly humans love getting in our own way. My name is Nico Rapclis, and I've had a wild journey. From releasing traumas that I held on to for decades, to playing college athletics, working with multi-million-dollar brands, having a spiritual awakening, and now coaching incredible humans navigate their inner and outer world. The Just Grow podcast is my outlet to share and help others with life and business. After investing north of $100,000 into my personal and professional development, the Woo plus Do formula is what has served me best. A healthy combination of mindset, energetics, consciousness, spirituality, self-healing, and discovery, matched with a high-level strategy, principles, focus, optimization, and accountability to help you be, do, and have everything that has been placed in your heart. This podcast is for the impact-driven entrepreneur that is finally ready to start thriving internally and externally. Welcome to Just Grow. What is up? What is up, my beautiful friends? Welcome to the Just Grow podcast. Nico Rapclis here, signing in for another amazing solo episode for the podcast. And I was thinking about this before I jumped on here. Is this really is a spiritual experience for me every time I record a podcast episode, specifically the solo ones, because it's like, you think about like meditation, your alone time. And I used to do these I would do these solo episodes, but I just wouldn't publish them. They were just video journals to myself. And it's almost like that's what these are. And then the bonus is that all you beautiful people listening and watching, whether you're on YouTube or you're over on any of the podcast platforms, you guys get to experience this as well. But it's really just me getting out what's inside of me, letting what is inside be birthed out. And I think it's just it's an amazing experience that I get to experience. And maybe this encourages you to step out and do something like this yourself, or just like take more time to yourself. Because yes, this could be called in quote unquote work, but this is nothing different than me journaling. It's even a form of meditation, because I'm so present when I'm having conversation. I'm just simply having a conversation with myself, with God, with now you guys listening after the fact, but like you're not here currently present at this moment. So it's really powerful to just get your thoughts out. And there was a book called The Road Less Stupid, great title. But the whole point of it was having thinking time. And I think this is exactly what it is for me. So that in itself could be valuable to you guys if that does provide value. But what I want to talk about on this particular episode, well, first of all, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. This is the Griffey year. I don't know if you guys are all baseball fans, but Griffey, he was number 24 before he went to the Reds. And Griffey swung for the fences. So that's what we're doing this year. We're swinging for the fences. And we're going to start that off right now. But we're also going to start that off at the first live event in Scottsdale, Arizona, January 5th. That's in a few days, Friday. So if you have not gotten your tickets yet and there's still some available, go to www.justgrowpodcast.com. So with all that said, that was kind of a long intro, a couple minutes. This episode is all about that missing link from actually creating the life that you truly desire and becoming the person that you truly desire. Okay, what is that? Well, in order to illustrate this, I want to share a little bit of a parable and a guided audio for you. So I want you to sit back. I want you to relax. I want you to shake it out. I've noticed that that really helps me. There's a lot of energy that's held in the hands. So we're shaking it out. Helps me a lot. Shake it out. Let's take some big breaths. Now, as your eyes are closed and you're leaning back, maybe you're laying down and you're listening to the sound of my voice, I want you to think about What do you want? And this is a question I implore all my clients to ask themselves very frequently. And anybody listening to this, it's one of the best questions that you can ask. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want in your relationships, in your health, in your business, in your financials, in your spiritual world, right? What do you want? You can never get too clear on what you want. But a follow-up question to that is, and arguably even the more important question is, how do you want it to feel? Whether you know it or not, we're all after a feeling, right? Maybe you want a brand new Mercedes. And yeah, that'd be cool, but like, what is that actually gonna make you feel? And that's really what you're after. We don't ever want the things. It's not the relationship, it's the feeling of acceptance and loved. That's what we want. That's what we want to feel. So, what is that feeling that you're after? What do you want to call in for 2024 and beyond? So, as you continue to clarify that, maybe you even speak it out loud. Give you a second. For me, it's peace. It's peace and abundance. And so I want you to imagine stepping into your dream car. Whether that's a classic or it's something that's brand new. Slide into that car, shut the door, feel how the seat feels on your body, your bum, your tush. How does that feel as you sit in there? You start the car. Does the engine roar? You put your hands on the steering wheel. Is it leather? Is it pleather? Is it wood? Feel that. And as you shift this vehicle into drive, you start driving and you realize that you're on this on-ramp and you're quickly approaching a highway. You're driving onto this highway and you quickly realize that you are on the highway of what you intentionally set out to feel. For me, my highway is peace. My highway is abundance. We'll call it the pundits. That was terrible. The Peace and Abundance Highway. And I'm driving on there. If that resonates with you, we'll go with the Peace and Abundance Highway. And you're cruising along, you're feeling that peace. Maybe as you're listening to my voice, it's resonating even deeper and you're feeling even more peace. You take a deep breath in and you let it out, experiencing and feeling even more peace. And maybe you don't feel all the way at 100 for peace, but you might feel 1% at peace, 2% at peace. And that's really what it's about. It's about experiencing a little bit of a droplet of peace and abundance. You don't need to go to 100. You don't need a full swimming pool of peace and abundance. All you need is a little drop. Because what you'll experience, just as much as you focus on the saliva in your mouth, and as you focus on it more, you notice it gaining more. There's more traction. There's more saliva building up because of the fact that you focused on it. What you focus on expands, and that's the whole point of this. We're driving on the highway of peace and abundance, and the more we drive on this highway, maybe we just started on this highway, but you'll notice as we look up and you see the signs and you see the exits, it's full of more peace and abundance. Maybe that peace is just exiting the highway, getting off onto a parking lot that's next to a bunch of trees. You get out and you walk around and you don't even have your phone on you, but you're just experiencing this whole new level of peace. You look up into the sun, it's beating on your skin, and you feel it. and you just feel an increase in peace. Maybe you're at 10%, 20%, who knows? Maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. You get back in your car, you get back on the highway, you're driving, and you're starting to see more things, more peace. Maybe you can get off and go on a hike. Maybe you get back on and maybe you want to start experiencing a little bit more abundance. And you stop at a dealership and you test drive your new favorite car. Maybe you go to an open house of your dream house. Maybe it's a $20 million house. That's what I did out in Los Angeles. We toured this open house, $20 million house. So it was a little overpriced, but what isn't in LA? But it was definitely a beautiful home, and it shifts your energy when you're in those energies. And maybe you get back on the highway. And what you'll notice is that, when we started on the highway of peace and abundance, maybe you're at 1%, maybe you're at 5%, maybe you're at 30% now, maybe you're at 40%, maybe you're somewhere in between, maybe you're at a far bigger distance, a bigger amplitude of peace and abundance. It all starts from that decision on where you wanted to be. Right? That's what's the power of intention and being intentional about what you want to feel. So if your eyes are still closed, you're welcome to open them up, or you can keep them closed, because I'm just going to continue to speak wisdom and knowledge to you that I've learned from my mentors and that I've had thoughts and feelings around because of the fact that I've cleared my interference and I've gotten much more present and I've raised my frequency, that these ideas and me being able to just speak freely from the heart on these episodes, and it allows you to receive them as well. It's all become, and it came from being intentional. I wanted to experience more peace and abundance. I wanted to experience this version of myself. Maybe it was a week ago, maybe it was a month ago, maybe it was a year ago, maybe it was a decade ago. I had somewhere in my awareness that I wanted to be this version of myself, that I could speak to an audience of people ever so freely and abundantly without feeling like I need a script. And here I am, because I was intentional about it. And that's the power of being intentional with what you want, the life that you want to experience, but ultimately how you want it to feel. And when you are intentionally jumping on the highway of what you wanted, whether that was health and vitality, whether that was peace and abundance like I mentioned, whether that was wealth and connection and experience, whatever the emotion is, love, gratitude, maybe that's the emotion that you wanted to experience. But what you'll notice is that you don't go from 0 to 100 within an intention. You go from 0 to 1, 0 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 10, 10 to 20. It varies, right? Depending on the person, depending on their experience, depending on who they are. But you don't go 0 to 100. But this is the way you actually manifest, is you just build the staircase. You build momentum. But here's the thing. Here's the big caveat. It all comes down to your intentionality, right? And if we are not intentional with what we want to experience, whether that's the feelings or the specific experience, you're just going to end up on a random highway. And a lot of times those random highways are fear, our lack, our scarcity, because that's what we're programmed for. We are programmed to survive. That's what our minds want. They want us to survive. And it goes into that fight or flight mode, which is scarcity, which is fear, which is lack. And once you're on the highway, just as we went through that little invocation, that little guided audio, if you will, you're going to start experiencing that more and more, because you're either spiraling up or you're spiraling down. A thought attracts a like-minded thought. A thought creates a feeling. A feeling creates a thought. It's all connected. And you can choose to go up, you can choose to go down, or you can unintentionally go down, because that's the way we are programmed for survival. fear and lack. That's just the way it is. But if we're intentional about truly what we want to experience, what God has placed in our heart, and what we want to feel, the sooner we can jump on that highway and we can start seeing the exit signs. We can start seeing all the signs, and we can go start experiencing that more and more. Because if you have a like-minded thought around peace and abundance, you're going to experience another one, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why it's so powerful to take time, have these thinking sessions that you can just spiral up quickly, like boom, da, 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 da. And that's why it's so powerful. I mean, we probably wouldn't even be sitting here, me doing a podcast, especially in the way that I did it, if I didn't go on a trip to Utah and have that experience. I chose to go get in a environment of peace. I went up to Zion, in Utah, South Utah, Zion National Park, Angel's Landing, one of the most peaceful, blissful places I've ever endured. And I had a thought that led to a thought that led to a thought that led to a thought that said I should start a podcast and I should throw them in events. I never would have got that if I was sitting in my apartment. I just wouldn't have. And there's just something about an incredible view that gets you inspired, gets you motivated, gets you thinking about the big picture stuff. You look and you see this monstrosity that God has built. You're like, I think I could play a little bit bigger. I think I could play a little less small. And I think you can too. So go get in those environments. What I encourage you to do, a few calls to action here on this particular podcast episode is think about at least two places you can go physically and mentally that give you that feeling. So for me, I thought about this actually last night. A place that I can go mentally, because I've been there already. I went to Bora Bora for a mastermind, and it was an incredible time in my life where I just had my business dialed in. I was doing a lot of affiliate marketing back in the day, had a lot of systems set up, which is the power of systems. Systems create consistency, whether that's for personal systems or whether that's for business systems. And that's what we teach a lot about inside of our Vision Accelerator program. We'll be opening up another one here in a couple weeks after our live event. And we're going to do a masterclass as well, a woo and do masterclass. So we got a lot coming up for you in the year 2024 here. But that's a place I can go back to mentally. Bora Bora. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I was in Bora Bora for a mastermind. I was waking up to thousands of dollars in commissions. It was blissful and it was peaceful. I'd wake up early in the morning before everyone else, and I'd just sit out on my balcony, look out at the calming water. And I was just like, wow, this is peaceful. And then it was followed up by abundance when I checked my accounts. It was wild. But anytime I have the choice to go back there because I've already experienced it. And I don't even need to have to experience it because the brain cannot differentiate, the mind cannot differentiate what is real and what is vividly imagined. So the better that you get at your imagination, the more you clear out your interference, the more that you do breath work, meditation, visualization, the more you clear all the gunk out, the more space you have, the more you clear out subconscious blocks, energetic blocks, which is, again, stuff we teach about all the time on this podcast and in our programs. But the more that you do that, the more creative you can be, because, again, the mind cannot differentiate what is real and what is vividly imagined. Capiche? But then at the same time, like, I love going to resorts around my apartment back in Arizona. I'll be heading there this afternoon. I love going to resorts because there's this opulence to it. I love going to open houses. I love going test driving cars. Even if I just go walk around the dealerships, there's more abundance in there. I'm, touching the cars, sometimes getting in them, sometimes test driving them. Resorts, like, there's an abundant feeling to those as opposed to just going to Chipotle, right? Everything is energy. Everything is energy. There's more wealthy people that are hanging out in resort bars, high-end lounges, right? But then I also love going up to Sedona and going on a hike. There's a lot of peace in those environments. and I can go to any one of those in my mind. So go there physically, go there mentally, come up with at least two. I just rattle off like 4, 5, 6. So go find some places, get clear on some places, maybe go get some ideas, get some inspiration off of social media or YouTube or anywhere. But figure out a couple of them and constantly go back to them, because repetition is the mother of all skill. There's power in repetition, spaced repetition, because you're a new person every time you experience something. So that's why reading a book multiple different times can be so powerful, because you're going to learn, you're going to hear different things every time you listen to audio. Like, I've listened to my podcast episodes multiple times. I've listened to some other audios from mentors and mentors and people that I've had calls with. I record those a lot of times and I go back to them and listen to them again. There's power in repetition, spaced repetition. You continually do it, it continually seeps deeper and deeper down into your subconscious. So I think that's kind of where I'm going to end it off. I definitely wanted to keep this around 20 minutes, and looks like that's kind of where we're at right now. So thank you for listening to this episode. I'm in Virginia Beach. I didn't even mention that to you. But Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Griffey year. We're swinging for the fences this year. Legends are going to be made in the next 18 months. Okay? Do you want to be a legend? Do you want to be a legend? We'll prove it in the next 18 months, because it's go time. Let's swing for the fences, but let's stay in the present moment. Let's see that ball come in. Let's crack that motherfucker over the outfielders, into the grandstands, and be that light that you know you can be. Because we're going big this year, and we're going to make shit happen, and we're bringing a whole army. We got a lot of things in store that I'm going to share with you. I'm getting connected and building relationships with some of the most amazing people, and we have a vision to build a stadium event. We're going to do a stadium event at some point over the next few years. And just really speak power, speak truth. It's going to be fun. So just a little glimpse. I'll share a lot more at the next podcast event on Friday. So if you have not have your tickets, go to www.justgrowpodcast.com if there are still some available. We're keeping it at 50 people for this particular one. So anyways, I appreciate you. I love you. Keep growing tree. Keep sharing this content with other people, someone else that needs to hear this message. Send this to them. Gift them that, and treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat yourself the way you want to be treated. I love you. Peace out.